If you clicked on this YouTube video after reading the title, you have been directly influenced by the Phoenicians. That is because the Latin script, which was adopted into the English language, as well as anything from the Arabic to the Hebrew script, are based on the Phoenician script, the script of the seafaring people, which dominated trade in the Mediterranean Sea for centuries in the ancient world, which we will cover in this video. First of all, let's understand who the Phoenicians were. The Phoenicians came from the Canaanites, the ancient indigenous people from the Levant, who lived in the coastal cities of modern-day Lebanon, northern Israel, and Syria, such as Tyre, Sidon, and Byblos. The Phoenicians were pagans who believed in gods such as Baal and Asherah, and it was common in ancient Phoenician society to sacrifice children for religious purposes, especially to the god Molech. Contrary to the ancient Jews and the ancient Greeks to some extent, the Phoenicians didn't have a coherent national or collective identity. Rather, they lived in city-states and primarily based their identity on the city or family they came from. The thing the Phoenicians are most known for, however, was their script. Contrary to ancient Mesopotamian or Egyptian cuneiform scripts, which had hundreds or even thousands of symbols and characters, took years to learn, and were pretty much unknown by people who had a special expertise in them. The Phoenician script consisted of just 22 letters, which made it much easier to learn and understand. The reason they developed their script was primarily for commerce. To efficiently manage and facilitate trade, they needed a system for recording financial transactions, debts and contracts. A simple and efficient writing system would have been indispensable for these purposes. The script was spread all across the ancient Mediterranean through their trade networks and went on to influence the creation of the Latin and Greek alphabets. This gets us into another thing the Phoenicians are known for, which is their expertise as traders and seafaring people. As people of the ports, it was natural for the Phoenicians to specialize in international maritime trade. And specialize they did. The first hint for that actually comes from the name they are collectively known for. The term Phoenician is derived from the ancient Greek word phoenix, which means purple. The name is believed to be associated with the precious purple dye that the Phoenicians produced and traded extensively. This purple dye, known as the Tyrian purple, was extracted from a special sea snail, which could only be found on the coast of Lebanon. And due to the low supply, the value of the product was high. The Phoenicians also entrepreneured and created many tools which would create a basis for their international trade networks. First of all, as you can guess, their script massively helped in many things, but this was just one piece of a giant puzzle. For example, there was also their vast astronomical knowledge and discoveries, which helped them to be better navigators. Most notably, the Phoenicians are believed to have discovered how to use the northern star, also known as Polaris, for maritime trade. What's special about this star is that it's situated almost directly above the Earth's North Pole. Because of this alignment, it remains nearly fixed in the night sky, while other stars appear to rotate around it. If you were to stand at the geographic North Pole and look directly up, Polaris would be almost overhead. Due to its position, Polaris serves as a reliable indicator of the direction north. This massively helped the Phoenicians and other ancient traders to conduct better navigation. The Phoenicians also had very sophisticated economy and financial tools for their time, which included early forms of credit and banking, insurance, and financial record keeping. The Phoenicians were also hack of shipbuilders. Phoenician ships were known as some of the best and most innovative in the ancient world, made with great materials and sophisticated engineering. With all this capital, it was natural for the Phoenicians to establish vast networks all across the Mediterranean, in which they traded goods such as metals, food, timber, and most notably, the world-famous Phoenician snail-made purple dye. As a part of their maritime commercial activities, the Phoenicians went on to establish colonies outside their original lands on the coast of the Levant. Phoenician colonies were established all across the Mediterranean, in anywhere from Cyprus to the islands of the Aegean Sea to Sardinia. The Phoenicians even established colonies beyond the Mediterranean. For example, the colony of Gadir, which later became modern Cadiz, which sits in western Spain on the coast of the Atlantic Sea, was established by the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians are even believed by some to have circled all of Africa nearly 2,000 years before Western European explorers did so, and from the north reached all the way to modern-day Britain. Also, contrary to how colonialism often was in other periods of history, due to their focus on business, the Phoenician colonies often had friendly and cooperative relations with native people. The most important and glamorous colony the Phoenicians established, however, was Carthage, which is located in modern-day Tunis. The civilization that was established out of Carthage went on to outshine the civilization of the original Phoenician homeland. For hundreds of years, Carthage was basically the New York of the ancient world. Carthage was a very rich city and a melting pot of culture, commerce, art, and knowledge. And according to accepted estimates, Carthage had hundreds of thousands or even 500,000 inhabitants at its peak. Out of this city, the Carthaginians established an empire of their own that controlled much of the western Mediterranean during much of the Iron and Classical ages. However, during the 3rd and 2nd centuries BC, it came into conflict with another rising empire that came out of the western Mediterranean, which you may have heard of, the Roman Empire. The Carthaginians and the Romans had a few gigantic and brutal wars with each other, known as the Punic Wars. The Romans came out on top in all of these wars. And in 149 BC, Cato the Elder, a Roman statesman at the time, famously declared in his speeches, Carthago delenda est, which translates into Carthage must be destroyed, and following a few years of tough fighting, this came into reality, and the Romans massacred and enslaved the population of the city. This turned hundreds of years of rich Carthaginian civilizations to turn into ashes. We can all just imagine all the treasures that were lost in this tragic event. However, the legacy of the Phoenicians still lives on to this day through the writing and also this YouTube video.